Morning, Team Longshot, and today we're going to be staying in the opulence of a campsite in Surrey. Yes, we're staying at Longacres Caravan and Camping Park. With modern toilet and shower facilities, Wi-Fi across the site, and loads to do locally, in the great British summertime, what could possibly go wrong? Got a biker on a deck wish. Okay, so now Valentino Rossi's gone, we can start the tour. We're going to do a very brief walk up to the pitch. This is what's imaginatively called the front field. It is really near the road, so there's a lot of road noise here. And the people in those tents are going to have a lot of noise, but they are near the food tent. I've heard really good things about this. It's called the Teapot. I think it's independently run. And our pitch is on the meadow field, so let's head up there now. Here's reception. Now when we got here there was no one on reception and we haven't checked in yet. You meet some lovely people on here. That lady I was just speaking to, I didn't want to record her, but yeah, absolutely lovely. And her husband and her little, probably 5-year-old. There's a car garage and various sort of buildings there. And now we're into the field called the Circle. Now this has got some nice pictures on it. There's a big field here with loads of people in. They've got a big marquee in the middle. I don't want to film in there because there's loads of kids in there, but they look like having a great time. All very close together. But there are some nice pictures. Over there's some nice pictures. And it's all a little bit unkept and a little bit weedy, isn't it? I've seen worse, but I've seen a lot better. Now, filming this was a little bit difficult, to be honest with you, because I've had family businesses and I know how difficult it can be with politics and hard work and little return and so on. And I don't want to impact upon a small business with one person's opinion. So it needs to be treated as my opinion and my opinion only in a snapshot of time. Having said that, you've got to be authentic. And you've got to be authentic to the people who have taken the time to watch and are then making decisions where to visit based on what you're saying. And it would be easy for me to say, this is amazing or this is terrible. And I'd probably get a lot more views and be clickbait and so on. But I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. Anyway, roll the tape. Well, it's getting to evening time now, so I think it's time to show you the pitch. Now, pitch side, we have been kiddified, I'm afraid, but the pitch is pretty big. We haven't got hedging all the way around, but yeah, pretty sheltered. I have noticed that there's quite a lot of rubbish knocking about. Could probably make some various objects out of this rubbish. Like a little poo bag there if you needed one. And a packet of discos, how about that? And a receipt. I haven't seen anyone actually cleaning or like grounds people, but maybe because we've only been here a day and a half, perhaps they come around once a week or something, I don't know. It is just generally very messy, and I haven't like gone out of my way to find this sort of thing. This is on every pitch is like this. Wherever there's like a bush that can trap rubbish, it's like this. There's just things scattered everywhere. Keep your dog on a lead at all times. I'd say about half the people, well maybe 3/4 of the people adhere to this. The rest sort of just let their dog run about a bit. We've had at least one dog on our pitch since we've been here. I found the local watering hole, and it's yeah, a little worse for wear. It's kind of got these, whatever, I don't even know what this is, like bin bags all around it. And yeah, and then you've got the bin, which evidently has not been emptied, so people are just now dumping it down here. And this one as well. Lastly, the wastewater is, well, you open it with a little cable tie. And the chemical waste, again, it's on an old pallet. And yeah, lovely. The gardening team are on strike. It's like this all over the campsite. It's just not maintained, and it's the height of the season. This is August. Lingfield in bloom wasn't won by this entry. You will not be surprised to know. Okay, so it's got to that time where we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, that is the plains. Yes, the plains. Plains, and more plains, because if you don't like plains, you've got a real problem. They go on all night and all day, and it's pretty loud. The campsite is directly in the flight path of Gatwick Airport, especially when they're landing, which is usually the case. They land over the campsite, and well, if you don't like planes, you've got a massive problem. Now, full disclosure, we love the planes, and we actually did some research, looked on some websites, some forums and that, and found that this is a really good plane spotting campsite. So if you're into plane spotting, great. If you're into going to sleep, not so good, unless you bring earplugs, because they do go on all day and all night, and it is loud. Let's get rid of this plane. It's a little bit naughty that they don't mention the planes anywhere on their website. Let's talk toilets. Now, the toilets at Longacres are really nice in terms of the building, and you can see they put a lot of money into it. The tiling is amazing, and the shower units are easy to use. There's not one of them push buttons that you get on a lot of club sites. So actually, the fundamental of the building, the structure of the building is really nice. The problem is they don't seem to maintain it very well. And there's mould on the ceiling, for example, that's obviously been there for a very, very long time. But you can be the judge for yourself. Roll the tape. Jesus, man. See, this area is pretty good, apart from the explosion we just had. This is quite nice. The actual fundamental of the building is quite nice. You've got the air blade thing and everything. It's quite nice, but they're just not maintaining it. So this is the disabled toilet. And I don't know if it's regulation, but there's no screen between that and the toilet, which means the toilet's pretty damn wet, but I don't know if that's some sort of regulation. There's like a maximum distance to transfer. I don't know. But yeah, it's not particularly clean. And also they've got no idea how long they can be in the shower for, because it doesn't tell you. See, just regular checks would stop this. I think that's the problem. I think they're trying, but they're not doing regular checks. This one's soaking wet as well. I really think these shower and toilet combos are just a bad idea. A, for capacity, and B, for this problem. It's soaking wet everywhere. This is the other toilet block. And this one's got individual showers. I like the way they've got the rain head shower. Pretty good. See, it's things like this they're sort of struggling with, look, where they're just not quite maintaining it. And it's such a shame, because you can see they've put a lot of money into it and they've done a good job. And I fear if they don't keep on top of it, that it will just go to waste. And it's a shame, because it's really nice. I got out of the shower early because it's freezing cold. I had 8 minutes, which is quite a long time, obviously. Despite having it on maximum. Is that maximum? Perhaps I'm wrong. But despite having it on maximum, it would not get warm. And the lights go out after 3 minutes when you've got an 8-minute shower. So I was sort of dancing around trying to get the light to come back on. Alert, alert, we have women in the men's toilet. That would probably be because all the soap has run out in the women's. So they've had to come in here. It's the Daily Pants Watch. Oh, hello. I know, you're all shouting at the screen saying it's a campsite. And I get that, but camping has changed in the last few years and it's become a lot more expensive and people's expectations have gone up. We had 10 amp of electricity on a grass pitch and we paid £45 a night, and I'm only comparing this site to other sites in the same price bracket, and we've stayed on quite a few. The actual buildings, like I said, are amazing. I just such a shame that they're not then maintaining it and they're going to lose all that investment that they've put in. And I'm kind of rooting for them to just put in that extra 5% and it would make the site twice as good. But now let's talk about the location. And for days out, that site is amazing. You can't get better. You can get to London in 45 minutes, maybe an hour. You've got Lingfield just down the road. You've got East Grinstead, which is where we went. And you've got a British Wildlife Trust place. I'm not quite sure of the name of it. That is within walking distance. And you've got a couple of National Trust places. Again, we went to Standen House and Wakehurst. And of course, the obvious one is that you can get to Gatwick really easily. And I think that is actually why the site on one side is a little bit like a traveller's site. And that's because it's full of people who I think work at Gatwick. I haven't confirmed that, but that's my suspicion. But let's stick with the positives. If you want location, this site is 10 out of 10. Oh, after that bit of positivity, it kind of all comes crashing down again. We had a load of drunks that were allowed on the site, teenagers, and, well, I'm not going to play you much of the clip at all because there were words in there that, would make your hair curl, being shouted across the campsite. It's quite difficult to tackle a group of teenagers, so no one did. And it went on into the night, and no one from the campsite went and told them to shut up or anything like that. Maybe that's a failing on my part and the part of everyone else that was there, because I would assume no one rang the site office emergency number, which there is an emergency number. So to be fair, if no one did that, perhaps they didn't know. And then the rubbish, it gets worse, I'm afraid. We've had a critical mission update. The bins have been emptied, including the doggy bin. So things are looking up. Maybe we hit them on a bad day, I don't know, or bad 2 days. Look, this is the evidence. Well, one bin's gone, been taken away. This one's still full, but there was a bin there, and it's just been taken away. Well, I was wrong. I thought they were emptying the bin, but all they've done is moved it 50 yards up the road, and it's been there for a couple of hours now. Now they're all absolutely rammed. Said more bins this way, so I've come to the second lot of bins, and they are also completely rammed. Okay, Tom, stop moaning, because there's some great things that Longacres are doing. Firstly, there's the hayfield down the bottom of the campsite, and that's where all the cool kids hang out. When we first got there, it was pretty full, and it was mostly full of caravans and tents and motorhomes, all like in circles, so they could all have parties and things, and that was really civilised, and it looked like they were having fun. Also on the hayfield are the glamping pods. There's little houses, and they look really good. Then there's what I think is the best thing, actually, is their rewilding projects. They've got loads of footpaths and stuff around the campsite, and I know that they do own some of the land around there, and they're doing some really good things for nature. I like the way they're trying to use it as a sort of hub for events in the local community. That's pretty good. In the middle of August, that isn't so good. Okay, so the cleaner is in the women's toilet, so I assume they've done in here, and you know what? Really good. Pants have gone. Better-ish. It's looking a little cleaner. It's pretty good now, to be fair. These are still out of order, but again, not the end of the world. And I thought Corby only did trouser presses, but no, they also do hair dryers. And to be fair, this is completely free of charge. You know you've reached the pinnacle of your career when you get to review a laundry room. So I've shown you it now, and I can't be bothered to tell you any more about it. Ooh, free DVDs. Okay, so this is the lower shower block, and it looks a little bit more basic, but still perfectly functional. The shower's sort of a more simple design. It's got this sort of valve that you put backwards and forwards. All very basic. I'm not sure if that just controls the temperature. Unfortunately, it is still pretty dirty. This has really good reviews online. I think it's ran by a third party. It's called the Travelling Teapot, and there's normally some tents down there. And I'll tell you what, if you're in a tent, yeah, there's loads of traffic, but if you're not bothered by that, there's planes anyway, so this might be a prime spot, because apparently there's a good variety of food here. Milkshakes, sarnies. Apparently the coffees are really nice. Fake flowers always add that little extra. Lots of teas. Yeah, I think this is definitely one to try if you come here. And you can sit under here and play Jenga. Looks to me like someone's left the Jenga in a critical position. You know what, it's like the place is coming alive now. There's someone down there with a hedge cutter cutting the hedges. It's like we arrived on the worst day possible, and now they're really getting to work on the site. It's brilliant, you know, because I don't want to be someone who criticises a family business when they're working hard and so on and so forth. Okay, it's confession time. I've messed this video up. Because camping isn't about looking at how clean the toilets are. Camping isn't about wandering around moaning about how much noise there is outside. Camping's about being with your mates. Camping's about going round an open fire and having marshmallows. Camping's about telling stories and spending time together. Camping's about dancing outside in the rain. Camping's about getting gnats in your tea and drinking it anyway. Camping's about living life to the full. Camping's about being able to explore new places. Camping's about getting muddy and not caring. Camping's about watching the sunset. Camping's about meeting new people. Camping's about going for a walk somewhere where you've never been before and having no idea where you're going. Camping's about sharing other people's lives for that tiny moment in time. Camping's about making memories. And above all, camping is about freedom.